APJ അബ്ദുൽ കലാം ടെക്നോളജിക്കൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി വൈസ് ചാൻസലർ ഡോക്ടർ രാജശ്രീയാണ് അടുത്തതായി നമ്മോടൊപ്പം വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം എന്ന മേഖലയെക്കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിക്കാനായി എത്തുന്നത്.
തിരുവനന്തപുരം ബാട്ടൺ ഹിൽ ഗവൺമെന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജ് മുൻ പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ, നിലവിൽ കേരള സംസ്ഥാന APJ അബ്ദുൽ കലാം സാങ്കേതിക സർവകലാശാല വൈസ് ചാൻസലർ. സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യാം ഏറെ സ്നേഹാദരവോടെ 88ാമത് ശിവഗിരി ആഗോള ഓൺലൈൻ തീർത്ഥാടനത്തിലെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ സമ്മേളനത്തിലേക്ക് ഡോക്ടർ രാജശ്രീ MS.
എല്ലാവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം. 88ാമത് ശിവഗിരി തീർത്ഥാടനം ആധുനിക സാങ്കേതിക വിദ്യയുടെയും ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ ടെക്നോളജിയുടെയും എല്ലാം അകമ്പടിയോടുകൂടി ഒരു വെർച്വൽ രൂപത്തിലാണ് നാം നടത്തുന്നത്. ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ ഈ മഹാസദസ്സിനെ അഭിസംബോധന ചെയ്യാനും സംസാരിക്കാനും സാധിച്ചത് ഒരു ഭാഗ്യമായി ഞാൻ കരുതുന്നു. വളരെ വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് മുമ്പ് 1983 ഒരു 10ാം ക്ലാസ് വിദ്യാർത്ഥിനിയായിരുന്ന എനിക്ക് ശിവഗിരി തീർത്ഥാടനത്തിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കാനുള്ള അവസരമുണ്ടായി. ഇതുപോലെ ഒരു വേദിയിൽ അവിടെ ഒരു പ്രസംഗ മത്സരത്തിലാണ് അന്ന് വിദ്യാർത്ഥിനിയായിരുന്ന ഞാൻ പങ്കെടുത്തതും 1ാം സമ്മാനം നേടിയതും. വളരെ സന്തോഷത്തോടു കൂടിയും അഭിമാനത്തോടു കൂടിയും അന്ന് കിട്ടിയ ഒരു ഗോൾഡ് മെഡൽ ഞാൻ ഇന്നും സൂക്ഷിച്ചു വച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഗുരുദേവൻ്റെ സ്മരണയ്ക്ക് മുമ്പിൽ, അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ സിദ്ധാന്തങ്ങൾക്ക് മുമ്പിൽ ആ ഒരു നേട്ടം ഞാൻ സമർപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ഇന്ന് ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ ഇത്തരത്തിലൊരു സെമിനാറിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കാൻ സാധിച്ചത് വളരെയേറെ അഭിമാനമായി ഞാൻ കാണുന്നു. ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ വളരെയധികം സെമിനാറുകളും വളരെയധികം പ്രഭാഷണങ്ങളും നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് നമ്മൾ 21st സെഞ്ച്വറിയിലെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിന് വേണ്ടി എങ്ങനെയാണ് തയ്യാറെടുക്കേണ്ടത് എന്നാണ്. So we all know that we are facing lot of challenges in the higher education field because of various factors. So the economy is globalized, products are benchmarked globally, and the higher education system is a very prominent segment of the education system, which is the one which faces most of these challenges. So we live in a world which is very volatile, which is very uncertain, very complex and ambiguous. Management experts put it like the VUCA, and it is for us to address these challenges one by one in the education system of the country and also globally. ഈ അവസരത്തിലാണ് നമ്മൾ ഗുരുദേവൻ്റെ ദർശനങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് ഒന്നുകൂടി ചിന്തിക്കേണ്ടത്. പ്രധാന ദേവാലയം വിദ്യാലയമായിരിക്കണം. വിജ്ഞാനത്തിനും വിനോദത്തിനും ഉപകരിക്കുന്ന സ്ഥാപനങ്ങൾ വേണം. മനുഷ്യൻ വായിച്ചു വളരണം. മഹത്തായ ആശയങ്ങൾ ഉൾക്കൊള്ളുന്ന ഗ്രന്ഥങ്ങൾ പാരായണം ചെയ്യാൻ കുട്ടികളെ പ്രേരിപ്പിക്കണം. എല്ലാ സ്കൂളിലും ത്യാഗം പഠിപ്പിക്കണം. സമ്പാദിച്ച അറിവ് കളയരുത്. അത് വലുതാക്കിയാൽ എത്രയോ പേർക്ക് പങ്കുവയ്ക്കാം. വ്യവസായം കൊണ്ടല്ലാതെ ധനാഭിവൃദ്ധി ഉണ്ടാക്കുവാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നതല്ല. മടിയന്മാരായി ജീവിക്കുന്നത് നീതിക്ക് നിരക്കാത്തതാണ്. ഇത്തരത്തിൽ ഉള്ള ദർശനങ്ങൾ ഇന്നത്തെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ രംഗത്ത് വേണ്ടിവരുന്ന പരിഷ്കാരങ്ങളുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ചിന്തിക്കുന്നത് വളരെ വളരെ മഹത്തായി എനിക്ക് തോന്നുകയാണ്. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ ഈ 4 പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ചലഞ്ചസ് സൂചിപ്പിക്കുകയുണ്ടായി. ദ വോളറ്റാലിറ്റി, അൺസർട്ടനിറ്റി, കോംപ്ലക്സിറ്റി ആൻഡ് ആംബിഗ്വിറ്റി. So we need to address these challenges in the higher education system by several means, because we have been thinking of education. So it was like, what is education? So previously education was teaching something, but now the outlook has changed and we need to develop individuals. It is the development of individuals with a reliable compass and navigation skills to find their own way to the increasingly uncertain world, which is volatile, complex and ambiguous. That is where the difference is. It is not transmitting knowledge to the students, but it is more than that. It is equipping or empowering them to navigate in this world which is very complex. So we need to develop students to address the rapid economic as well as the social challenges, and then they need to look at, or they need to prepare themselves for jobs that have not yet created, and they need to prepare themselves for situations which they have not seen or they have not encountered so far, and they will have to work in technologies and systems which they haven't even heard before, and they have to be very different. They have to be very differently solving problems for the society and for the economic empowerment. So it is not only learning, getting a job and getting the rewards for it. It is much more than that. How to make themselves adaptable to the challenges of the environment which is around them, which every aspect of which needs to be addressed. So we need to foster motivated and engaged learners, and they should be able to address the challenges of tomorrow. So the success of education is also to be redefined in this context. It is not by assessing the contents that they have learned. It is not only by testing the knowledge that they have accumulated, but it is actually by testing the performance of the students who are coming out of the systems of education, the systems of higher education, to see if they are able to address all these challenges that are faced by the society around them. That is very critical, and that is how we need to look at education. So it is not, the basic understanding is that it is not transmission of knowledge from one point to the other. It is much more than that. So it has to build certain other attribute in them, and we can think of that as knowledge, skills, character, and the meta learning that can happen. So what is each one of these? So the knowledge, it has been traditionally part of the higher education system, and that we have been giving this sort of knowledge. Now we don't have to give it, as I told earlier, because everything is available for students to search from, and there are better search engines now which can give any forms of knowledge that they are looking for. Now coming to the skills, that is something very critical that needs to be imparted to the students from the educational systems. So we can classify the skills such that, or we can define the skills such that skills are those elements in students which will equip them to use what they know. So the using of knowledge that they have gained, it can only be harnessed by skills, and this comes from creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. So it is for them to address the problems that they encounter. It is not only enough that they have a repository of knowledge within them, but it is to use these skills to effectively use that knowledge in a particular problem context to come out successfully with solutions which will be appropriate to that problem. So that is the skills component, and then comes the character component. That is very important. It is not only the success of an individual, it is not only determined by the knowledge and skills, but also how they behave and how they engage in the world. That is very critical, and some of the things which can associate with this character will be mindfulness, curiosity, courage, resilience, ethics and leadership. So each one of these, if we see, we can associate with the success of an individual in engaging meaningfully with the society, with the problems that they are addressing, and solve those problems and contribute to the world. There are various ways of looking at how we address the problems or the challenges that come across an individual in his professional as well as personal life. So there are various means of classifying this, and we have for example, we have UN's Sustainable Development Goals, set of 17 listed goals which one needs to address in his profession. So when we take each one of them, how well one person is able to look at this and analyze how he can engage with the problem in such a way that these goals are addressed. And these are all defining measurable outcomes as to how one should be contributing and what are those goals, and how these goals can be aligned with education. So that is one component that we need to think about. Similarly, there are other indexes also which people have come across, which defines the development of regions, the development of nations, the development of countries. Everywhere some successful, the success is measured using measurable outcomes, and how well we are engaged with the society to have these indices achieved. So this requires the critical these critical qualities which we call as the character, and that forms a very fundamental aspect in defining how well one is able to use the knowledge which one has gained for the development or the benefit of others, which will in turn will be reflecting as, say, societal improvement or economic growth or overall improvement. So that is the second component, and the third component, and the fourth component is meta learning. So meta learning refers to how we reflect and adapt. So see, if we relate it to what Gurudevan was telling us, like how we are able to reflect upon ourselves and we can be developing ourselves. For self-development, how can we use all these? So for self-development, one needs to understand what is lacking and what is it that one needs to do in a specific context. It is through this reflection or introspection that one gets to know what is required and how one should be adapting oneself to tune oneself to the requirements of the engagements with the world, the engagement with the problem, the engagement with the rest of the people, the engagement with the teams with which one is collaborating. So all these can be refined and adapted by having this sort of component, that is how we reflect and adapt to a particular situation. And this is very important for one's success, and that capability has to be built, that attribute has to be built in individuals in the educational system. So having said that context, the fundamental ingredients of 21st century educational system to meet the challenges of 21st century, we have looked at four components: the knowledge component, the skills component, the character component, and the meta learning component. Now, having said this, having said these four fundamental needs, it is for us to see how we can have mechanisms, how we can have institutions, how we can have our educational systems respond to these challenges by using these four. And what are the elements or what are the ingredients of the educational system which puts these four in the respective ingredients which form part of the educational system. Say for example, if we take, I'll give one example. If we all believe that the education to a major extent depends on the curriculum that is being designed, and we say that we follow a very modern curriculum which responds to all the needs, and then everything is put, all the new subjects are put. So how are we addressing this? What do we mean when we say that the new knowledge areas or the new contents are put in the syllabus? So it doesn't end there. So the curriculum design is a still in-depth process where we need to look at how these four factors that have been mentioned it's fundamentally developed through the learning that happens in children. So that is the fundamental issue there. So if you look at the curriculum, we say that the curriculum is very interdisciplinary, or the curriculum is very modern, it takes innovation, entrepreneurship, and the curriculum is based on very focal themes which are dealing with state of the art subjects, the state of the art technologies. Curriculum is something which deals with all the developments in technology, it keeps pace with technology. So all this is there, but it is for us to see that the curriculum also gives equal importance to harnessing the other three components. So from knowledge perspective it is fine. Then how are we addressing the skills? How are we addressing the character? And how are we making that capability of that meta learning skills? How are we imparting those skills in them? So that is where the whole crux of the issue lies, and that is where educators have to think very seriously about. Now the curriculum, for this the curriculum needs to have balance of what? It should not alone be the knowledge, but how well it is factoring in the other components also through the teaching learning process, through the pedagogical approaches that are used, through the evaluation schemes that are used. All these are prominent when we speak of curriculum. It is not only the contents. As we saw earlier, contents is something which can easily be found from anywhere, and it is possible for people to get it free of cost from everywhere. So that is not the major thing. It should also have room, also have proper mechanisms to bring in these other three attributes also in the students who are coming out of the institutions. So once the curriculum is balanced with these, how we can bring in these attributes also, then it is the institutional mechanisms. The institutional mechanisms also play a very major role in the education, because it is not the conventional systems where we have large teaching schools which impart knowledge and also skills also, supposing that skills also are being imparted in a structured way from classrooms. It is not as easy as we think, and there are several other skills which come in these groups, like the character, which talks about curiosity and resilience. There should be enough provisions in the system which will improve those qualities. How I can address a problem, how a student can address a problem where that triggers that kind of curiosity. How can I go to a nearby place in my college and do something for the people there? How can I engage with people, what are all the things that I need to do for them, and how does it affect the whole livelihood of the people there. So there it is putting the learning from a very different context. It is not the classroom, it is not the contents that's being imparted, but it is an actual problem that is being faced by a community of people, which a group of youngsters from a campus are going and analyzing the problem and solving it. So the mechanisms are in the institutions, educational institutions have provisions for having this kind of interfaces which will be facing the society and bringing in problems and engaging the students from the institutions in a meaningful way to solve the problems. And those sort of experiential learning will only empower the children with the right kind of skills. Also engaging with the businesses. The higher education is supposed to be one which forms the major component for creating the wealth of the nation. So how we can bring in businesses, how we can bring in innovative enterprises, all these thoughts should be coming from the institutions, and that is where these kind of institutional frameworks become very critical. So it is when we talk about the kind of inputs that are given to the children, it is from it's a whole framework that we need to think of, which consists of the knowledge, skills, character and meta learning avenues, which are enabled by proper educational mechanisms. So proper educational mechanisms means the governance should enable such avenues where students can actually engage in problems and work, and they are rewarded for this, and it is for them to come out as successful lifelong learners. In the whole process, we are not closing education with the institutions or the colleges, but we are transforming those students to those individuals who are able to reflect upon themselves and adapt themselves to the changing knowledge and also the changing environment. The expectations from the world, from educated individuals will be changing, and how such changed expectations can be met by one's capability to adapt oneself to that situation. That attribute has to be brought into people, and this can happen only if they are able to see the society, the overall development goals of the society, and how the educational goals align with the development goals, the societal development goals. So there are we are all familiar with the hierarchy of needs of an individual. Like that, we can also think of educational needs at several levels. Is it simply meeting some requirements? Is it simply attaining some qualifications, or is it much more than that? How one is able to realize oneself in a much more empowered stage to give more contributions to the society by means of the education that one has learned. This can happen only by continuous improvement. So continuous improvement is not something which happens or which happens as depositing knowledge in one's brain, but it is much more than that. It is by one's capability to reflect upon and see how I should be using this knowledge in the changed environment, and how I should be engaging with people around, how I should be making use of the knowledge from my peers to solve a problem, etc. So we always have a conflict of this generalized versus specialized knowledge. There will be generalists and specialists. So who is more prominent when it comes to, say, development? It is something which is debatable and questionable. But when we speak of the interdisciplinary kind of learning that is required of now, it is interesting to note this because it is not only specialist, but it is for you to look at the problem at a deeper level. But much more than that, it is your holistic perspective of the whole problem, and then how well you are able to integrate your knowledge and the knowledge from others to solve this problem in a collaborative way. That is important, and any successful individual, any successful society would have come to that mode of development of individuals when it comes to the development of the society. And the development of the society it's not only the economic growth, it is not only in terms of creating a large number of jobs, but it is something more than that. It is the self satisfaction of people. It is how gratified are people with the kind of work that they are doing, and the kind of contributions that they are making to the society, and the kind of improvements that they are making, which will reach the life of other people. So there are several other factors which determine this completeness, and that should be promoted, and this should come from the educational system itself, to have this kind of holistic way of looking at education with the right balance of the contents in the curriculum, institutional mechanisms, and also the measurement of progress as to how you measure the progress of an individual, or how you measure the progress of an institution. It is what are the performance indicators. So it should factor in all these aspects which will help us in achieving the challenges of the 21st century educational system. So it is important for not only for the students, it is these kind of thoughts and debate is very valid for educators, for policy makers, and it is very critical to have a look at all these when we look at the challenges that we face. See, another important aspect that is transcending the whole of educational system is the rapid technological advances. So what is happening now, the technological advances, especially in information and communication technology, is redefining the whole world. The kind of jobs, the nature of jobs is being changed, and the nature of jobs which are very repeatable and which can be very precisely predicted are the ones which are which can be easily automated, and this poses a grand challenge to job seekers, and also in the whole of employment scenario. And there is no single solution for it, but it is that itself points us to the need for developing individuals in a very different manner, where the contributions from the individual workers are not the repeatable jobs that can easily be automated, but it is much more than that in building teams and successfully and innovatively looking at problems that comes in one's way. So it is challenging, and at the same time it is giving tremendous opportunities for us to revisit the way we look at education, the way we formulate policies for education, and the way we set up institutions, everything, because now we also see that we have seen an excellent example during this pandemic, where the education, the whole of model of education was seen to be changed, because we haven't been visiting the universities, but still a remote mode of education was happening, which to a large extent. It is not true that education, the whole of educational institutions will be replaced by online teaching or learning or anything, but it is opening up new avenues for us, and redefining our institutions are as places which can empower the students in very different ways. So it is not only for the transmission of contents that the schools or the universities are required, but it is for redefinition as collaborative learning environments, which are collaborative workspaces where people come and interact, and they reach different other dimensions of knowledge creation, which is not the fundamental knowledge that can come from elsewhere. So there's something more which comes from collaborations and teamwork, and by exploiting and by making use of one's full potential. So that is how the educational spaces are getting redefined in this new era, and there we need to look at the holistic perspective of higher education and then work towards that. We know that as the opportunities and the advances are happening in technology and in all knowledge areas, the problems that are the problems or the challenges come in different forms. So we look at various ways in which the challenge is coming, like the basic sustainability issues, climate change, then energy. There are fundamental issues that one needs to look at, and then fundamental research should happen in these, and that is where the institutions should come forward. So these are my views on the 21st century education, how we should be preparing for education in the 21st century, how we should be looking at the holistic approach for 21st century education with all the developments that are happening around us, and all the advances that are happening around us, and all the new avenues for collaborations and building teams for newer and novel contributions in science and technology and all other fields, and the basic intervention in science and technological advances with a holistic outlook towards integrating humanities and social sciences also in the curriculum in the right manner to create problem solvers, to create successful individuals for the 21st century. So with this few words, I once again express my gratitude for having given me this opportunity to interact with a large number of people, along with other experts and eminent people who are coming in this Tirthadanam with their great insights. Thank you very much. Thank you.